bank account and when adults nationwide could be able to sign up for that shot.
Oh, as soon as they can come down.
They don't want to wait a moment longer. Why new nursing home guidelines are bringing families to tears. And it's sailing into our harbor this morning. How you can check out the Coast Guard's largest tall ship here in the Low Country this weekend.
Good Morning Charleston starts right now.
Yes, we have made it finally Friday, friends. It is March 12th. Good morning to you. I'm John Bruce. You're watching Good Morning Charleston. Emily Gracie, our storm tracker meteorologist, joining us from the weather shed. And pretty amazing week of weather. Certainly, will it last through the weekend? That's the big question.
I mean, beautiful out there over the past several days, and it just keeps getting better every day. Today really peaking with those temperatures. Still cool this morning and still need that sweater as you're stepping out the door, but it's going to warm up quickly. 40s and 50s on the map right now. 51 in Charleston, 48 in Somerville, 46 in Moncks Corner. We're headed for upper 70s though later today. Sunshine in the forecast as we go through the afternoon. Very little cloud cover out there right now. In fact, tracking a front off to our north. That front's going to sink south into the area this weekend, but we're rain free today. In fact, a beautiful afternoon. If you're headed to the bus stop early this morning, like I said, a sweater needed. By lunchtime, many kids getting out early today, 75 for that lunchtime temperature. You have the afternoon to enjoy because it will be in the upper 70s. So warmest day here of the work week. I'll have a look ahead to if temperatures stay that warm for the weekend and have a look ahead to when that rain returns to the forecast. That's coming up. In the meantime, let's see how things are looking out on the roads and if Trooper Bob has seen any incidents or fog yet this morning.
Yeah, Emily, no fog, but let me show you an incident right now. This is Lincolnville Road. In Lincolnville, actually, if you're coming down from Somerville, this area is blocked off because of a crash. This is right near Candlebrush Lane. So if you need to go to Somerville or vice versa, go to Ladson, take Highway 78 because you're not going to be able to get through here. I just spoke to a deputy. He said it is a crash and they're working to help the driver and get this roadway clear. But several first responders are on scene and some family members are just starting to arrive also.
President Biden has signed that sweeping $1.9 trillion spending plan into law. He also delivered his first primetime address Thursday evening. He recognized the toll the virus has taken on so many American families, but also outlined his plan to defeat it, predicting a potential return to some semblance of normalcy by the 4th of July. ABC's Alex Perchet has the latest from Washington.
Finding light in the darkness is a very American thing to do.
In his first primetime address, President Joe Biden outlining his plan for a return to normal, directing states to make all American adults eligible for a vaccine by May 1st. The president telling Americans if they do their part by wearing masks, social distancing, and getting vaccinated when possible, there's a chance that we can gather safely in small groups by July 4th.
After this long, hard year, that will make this Independence Day something truly special, where we not only mark our independence as a nation, but we begin to mark our independence from this virus.
The White House announcing the military will have a total of 6,000 troops backing vaccination programs, and that the number of community health centers and pharmacies giving out vaccines will dramatically expand. People will have 2 new ways to schedule appointments: a federally supported website and an 800 number. The president's address coming exactly 1 year after the declaration of the global coronavirus pandemic. It also comes on the same day Biden signed one of the largest economic rescue packages in our nation's history.
Well, this historic legislation is about rebuilding the backbone of this country and giving people in this nation, working people, middle-class folks, people who built the country, a fighting chance.
The new law will give most Americans $1,400 checks, extend unemployment benefits through early September at $300 a week, provide funding for vaccinations and testing, help for small businesses, and billions of dollars in housing assistance. Those checks could start hitting as soon as this weekend. It's Biden's first major legislative achievement, passing without a single Republican vote, even though a Pew poll shows that 70% of Americans support it. Alex Perchet, ABC News, Washington.
Somerville's got a new police chief. Major Doug Wright will take over April 16th, replacing Chief John Rogers, who was stepping down from that position after nearly 5 years in command. The measure to double the salary for Somerville Town Council members passed its first reading last night. Council voting 6-1 to pass that measure, giving themselves a raise. If passed a second reading, council members would be paid $15,000 a year. That's up from $7,500. The mayor position would be paid $25,000 instead of $15,000. In Island Palm City Council, they're going to meet today in special session. They'll set to take up the city's emergency ordinance and how it relates to falling COVID-19 numbers. That meeting scheduled for 1 o'clock this afternoon. You can follow along on their YouTube page or follow us on Facebook and our Twitter pages for the latest updates. Talks of new community development in Dorchester County now have been tabled. Dorchester County Zoning Commission received a request to rezone more than 400 acres near Ridgeville. That land nearby owned by the Edisto Natchez Cuso tribe. Neighbors have expressed their concerns. Not clear when another reading could happen. Of course, we'll bring you updates as we learn more. Another cool thing you could do this weekend, check out this beast. Yeah, that is the Eagle, the United States Coast Guard's largest tall ship. This thing is going to be in Charleston today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and you can get an up-close look. They're going to have folks there that can answer any questions you may have about the vessel. This is free. The location will be at the cruise ship terminal, 196 Concord Street, downtown. And here are the times you can view that majestic ship. 1 to 4 today, Saturday and Sunday. That'll be from 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. Well, they are back. The North Charleston Pops returning to the Performing Arts Center for the first time in nearly a year. Amy Russo is live for us outside. And Amy, we know the orchestra hasn't done a live concert because of COVID, but what can fans expect?
Yeah, good morning, John. And really, what a great way to make a comeback. The Pops will be performing songs from your favorite John Williams movies like Star Wars and Harry Potter. So there's really something for everyone. And like you said, the Pops haven't done a live performance here because of COVID. Conductor Nick Palmer said it was time now because more vaccinations are happening. This will actually be the first performance at the PAC since March of last year. There will be about 65 players, strings and percussion. Those will wear masks, and all performers will be socially distanced on the stage. It's a place Palmer says they really just can't wait to be back at.
We all are just thrilled to be together, not just playing music, because it's very uplifting to be a musician and to play in a group like that. So it's that part of it, but then there's always this camaraderie that we have. You know, people really like to be together.
The orchestra does run on money through ticket sales, grants, and contributions. Palmer said they were able to make it work during the pandemic because the orchestra still had virtual performances. Tickets for the live in-person concert are on sale now. That concert, it is tomorrow. Palmer says these tickets usually go pretty fast, so if you want to get your hands on one, you can stop by the Coliseum today, or you can go online. And John Bruce, I don't know if you actually know this about me, but I used to be in the band as well. I was a percussionist, was on the drums, xylophone, triangle. So I'm actually extra excited for this event this weekend. I'll send it back to you.
Stop it. That is awesome. I did not know that, Amy. Did you know that I've opened up that Pops performance several times before? A great venue and some talented folks there. 2 performances. They are coming up on Saturday, 2:30 p.m. and 7:30. The next concert is going to be held on April the 24th. Well, applications are now open for enrollment in Dorchester's District 2's virtual program for next year. The deadline to do so actually come up pretty quickly. It's March 25th. Applying, though, doesn't guarantee enrollment, so do it quickly. The district says this is on a case-by-case basis. They're also encouraging parents to look at the Academy Handbook for all criteria. You can find those links by going to the website right there on your screen, dd2two.wo.org/VA. Today, the Board of Trustees at the College of Charleston will meet. The Zoom call begins at 1 o'clock. The Budget and Finance Committee can have a special meeting, followed by the Development, Alumni, Governmental, and External Relations Committee special meetings. Looking ahead to tomorrow, a group of Lowcountry leaders will introduce the African American Cemeteries Restoration Project. Mayor John Tecklenburg of the City of Charleston will join leaders from the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints, as well as the Gullah Society. That's Saturday at 11:30 in the morning. That event at the Moore Street Baptist Church and Union Baptist Church cemeteries. The event will also be streamed on the City of Charleston's Facebook page. Also starting Sunday, there's going to be nighttime flagging going on Clements Ferry Road, all part of the widening project there. Crews going to be doing tree clearing between Jack Primus Road and the Wando River Bridge. Crews will be out from 8 at night through 6 o'clock the next morning. Please be mindful as they plan to finish up by next Thursday. And Sunday, Charleston Animal Society going to stream their 147th annual meeting. The theme this year is a year like no other, of course. And they say you have a chance to win a Tesla. What? Okay. You can watch their YouTube and Facebook pages. It begins at 4:30. They'll talk about highlights from the past year and also make an announcement about a new partnership with the Petco Foundation. And our state courts are set to reopen on Monday. People could show up again in person for family, circuit, and probate court. The exception, grand jury trials, those will go back to being in person on April the 5th. We've had picture-perfect weather this week for sure, but will it continue into the weekend? Emily takes a look at the forecast coming up after the break. And also still to come, touting a weapon around a West Ashley neighborhood. We now know the identity of the man in custody after an officer-involved shooting. We'll bring you the latest. And our state's nursing homes opening their doors just a bit wider. Breaking down the rules for you, getting visitors back in to see their loved ones. Plus, a rideshare delivery service that's bringing more than just food. The new legislation making it easier to pick up or deliver alcohol. First, though, okay, let me catch my breath. ABC News 4 partnering with St. Jude Children's Hospital, making sure its mission does not stop. The hospital is the world's leader in finding cures for childhood illnesses like sickle cell and leukemia. Families don't ever see a bill, and we, along with our partners, want to keep it that way. You can listen up to Magic 107.3 and 96.9 The Wolf today, tomorrow, learning more about our radiothon to raise money. We'll be right back.
We're working for you with a Storm Tracker update.
Happy Friday. It is 5:14 on this warm morning, a warmer morning than yesterday. We've seen those temperatures come up a little bit each and every morning and afternoon. We're about 4 degrees warmer this morning than we were yesterday at this time, and that puts us right around that 50-degree mark in most areas right now. So temperatures are comfortable, but they're going to get a whole lot more comfortable as the day goes on. Right now, Mount Pleasant checking in at 49 degrees. Sunrise still about an hour and 15 minutes away. So we're going to see those temperatures perhaps drop another degree or two, but then start to rise quickly as we go through the mid-morning. And by 9 a.m., we'll make it into the mid-60s and closer to 70 by later this morning and middle of the day. So sunshine helping us get there. Southerly winds as well on the backside of this high-pressure system. Tracking a front off to our north. That front sitting well off to our north, but still something to watch here over the next couple of days as it starts to sink south into the area. For today, though, a dry day. You can head to the coastline. Lots of sunshine out there. Don't forget the sunblock. And this afternoon, our low tide will be about 1:30. So great afternoon at the beach. Those beach temperatures coming up a little bit. Still that difference between coastal areas and inland areas, though, as far as high temperatures, thanks to that water temperature. 72 Sullivan's today, 71 Folly Beach, 79 Goose Creek, 80 degrees in Somerville, and 81 in Ridgeville this afternoon. And then tonight we'll drop down into the mid-50s, so another mild overnight, above average for those overnights. Typically this time of year we're in the 40s. Looking ahead to the weekend, great weather in the forecast, not perhaps as beautiful, but we are going to be in the mid-70s both tomorrow and Sunday. A few more clouds out there, a little bit more humidity in the air. Very slim rain chance on Sunday, just becoming more unsettled ahead of our next system of fronts, which will come in next week. And of course, a reminder to turn those clocks ahead 1 hour before you go to bed on Saturday night. We're going to get some later mornings and some later evenings out there. Sunrise next week will be right around 7:30 with sunset around 7:30 p.m. So getting into those evening hours that stay light a little bit later, but I'll talk about when that rain and cloud cover returns to the forecast. That's all coming up in the 7-day. Let's get a check now on those roadways with Trooper Bob.
Yeah, Emily, I'm still here live at the scene on Lincolnville Road, just down from Candlebrush Lane, just east of Somerville. This is going to be a head-on collision. The first responder just came over and told me 2 vehicles involved in this crash. A second ambulance actually just showed up on scene to take someone else to the hospital. As you can see, traffic over here, if you're coming down here, it's good. They're going to have to turn around and go the other way. This is a long, straight, narrow road, if you're familiar with this area. So if you're coming up from Lansing, take Highway 78. And avoid this area, and same thing from Somerville. Take 78 and just forget about Lincolnville Road because this can be closed for some time. They're still going to need to get tow trucks out here on scene.
Our state recorded another 359 coronavirus cases on Thursday. That's according to DHEC. We'll take a look at the death count. They say that 38 more people died from the virus. Officials say that most of those people were elderly. Just 2 days ago, that number was just 3. The percent of tests that came back positive on Thursday up a little bit at 6.4%. Taking a look at hospital bed occupancy this morning. Charleston County's 78 beds being used for COVID-19 patients. There are hundreds more available. As for ICU COVID beds, 17 are in use, 68 available. Those numbers are much lower in Dorchester County and Berkeley County, reporting 0 beds are being used by COVID-19 patients. A vaccination clinic at Charleston International today for those who are eligible. That's from 2:30 to 5:30 this afternoon. And Colleton County's health department says they are giving out COVID-19 vaccinations as well. The website to sign up, though, currently says that there are no appointments available. And starting today, Lucy Beckham High School in Mount Pleasant, that'll be going virtual once again. School officials say it's going to last through at least Monday, the 22nd. In a phone blast sent out to families, they say it's because of a recent COVID-19 outbreak there. We did check in with the CCSD dashboard. There were 13 reported cases in just 4 days. Officials say that this move will help slow the spread. Again, that will start today. Up next, right here, CVS Pharmacy is helping with vaccine distribution. How they're planning to do even more, we'll let you know. And an outreach project feeding folks some fresh Texican. We'll get a closer look at Thursday's food truck event in case you missed it. Stories in case you missed them. CVS Health, they're adding 21 vaccination sites across the state. That expansion will begin on Saturday. The new vaccination locations already added to the 33 stores giving out the shot. There are now 54 CVS Pharmacy locations with the vaccine in South Carolina, part of the nearly 1,200 stores giving out those vaccination doses throughout the United States. House of Representatives passing a bill Wednesday. It would effectively close the Charleston loophole. That measure was introduced by Representative Jim Clyburn. It would extend the review period of background checks regarding gun licenses from 3 days to 10. Unclear right now if that bill will advance to the Senate. And check this out, tacos on the go. El Jefe's new food truck. It brought hot meals to neighbors at Joseph Floyd Manor in Charleston. The owners working with Representative Marlon Kimpson for the outreach project. El Jefe also worked with the organization Friends of Joseph Floyd Manor to make that event possible.
So taco truck in the low country, always a good thing. All right, take a look at these temperatures here this morning. As that sun is coming up, we'll likely drop down into the mid to upper 40s across the area. So you will need that sweater or light jacket this morning. 6:34, the sun's coming up, and we're going to see a lot of it again today. Warming up quickly. In fact, the warmest day here of the work week as many of us approach 80 degrees this afternoon. A little bit cooler along the coastline, and then this weekend we're in the mid 70s. So the warm weather continues here. Normal highs are closer to 70 degrees, so this is a little above average. Setting those clocks forward 1 hour on Sunday morning. Rain chances return to the forecast though next week. A series of fronts coming through. It's going to drop some rain on us. A small chance on Monday, a better chance Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. St. Patrick's Day on Wednesday, high of 76, but we do have that chance of some showers.
Now for a look at some of the positive stories coming out of the coronavirus pandemic. An Iowa dad putting his computer programming skills to work by helping state residents find open COVID-19 vaccination appointments. Ryan Finley created a Twitter account that uses data from pharmacies administering the vaccines. It sends out automatic real-time alerts when appointments become available. Finley says the feed has really taken off, gathering at least 5,300 followers since Wednesday. If at first you don't succeed, well, Alachua, Florida middle school student Jonathan Chacomie nailed his second attempt at a three-pointer in his team's final game of the season earlier this month. Chacomie has Down syndrome. His mom says number 25 was getting lots of love at the school throughout the district during the season. 17-year-old Caden Hooks will face the country's top wrestler, Patty Gallagher, in Saturday's Ohio State wrestling tournaments. But the Delaware County junior says he's not afraid. He's already fought eye cancer. He had both eyes removed before the age of 4 and battles with autism. Hooks has been wrestling by feel since he was 6. He says the tables have turned and now he's the stud people are afraid to face on the mat. Our still to come this morning, brandishing a weapon more than once. We'll tell you who's been arrested following an officer-involved shooting in West Ashley. And 1 dead, 5 others injured. What authorities have been able to share about a recent deadly shooting at a Columbia motorcycle shop.
Continues right now.
Right about 5:30 here on this Friday morning, and it's going to be a great day. Our weather looking really the best we've seen all week, which has been hard to top. We've had a really nice stretch here, several days in a row with nice temperatures, and today no exception. In fact, we're starting off milder this morning at 51 degrees, 40s inland, but headed for a nice afternoon. Little fog forming out there. If you're in the Somerville area, you may see some light fog near the ground. Our fog shouldn't be an issue this morning, but I'll keep an eye on that visibility map just in case we do get some areas that are a little bit denser. We're clear, we're dry, we're in for a nice day today. Last day with complete sunshine out there and temperatures warming quickly. 9 a.m. we're in the mid 60s. By the middle of the day, the mid 70s. And by this afternoon, upper 70s with some spots surpassing 80 today. And we'll let you know how long this warm weather sticks around before some cooler air starts to filter in. That's all coming up in my full forecast. In the meantime, let's get a check of the roads now. It's been already an active morning out there. How's it looking now, Trooper Bob?
Yeah, Emily, let me take you right to the scene and tell you exactly what's going on right now, right here at 529. This is Lincolnville Road. If you're coming out of Somerville, just east of Somerville, the roadway is blocked because of a head-on collision. The second ambulance just left with one of the occupants of a vehicle. Fire officials tell me on scene that this roadway will be closed for a while because of all the debris that's out here. They also needed to get a tow truck out here to get all this cleaned up. But take Highway 78 if you're heading up from Lansing or from Somerville down towards Lansing, because this is not a roadway you're going to be able to get around.
Reopened to all traffic this morning. That's exit 217 on I-26. Some construction's been going on there for the port access roads. Also open right now, new I-26 mile marker 218 exit. That's for marina traffic. Police and officials say their work is still being done on Stromboli Avenue and Bainbridge Avenue. Don't forget, everybody, ABC News 4 always working for you with those drive times as well as national and local headlines. I'll scrolling for you at the bottom of your screen. Continuing on this half hour with your rapid rundown. A sweeping voting bill awaiting a vote in Congress at H.R. 1. It's known as the For the People Act. Some of the sharpest disagreements about that bill center on voter ID and ineligible voter regulations and registrations. Republicans say that the bill opens the door for widespread voter fraud. Republicans tout the bill as increasing access to the polls for all Americans. Also learning more about a security breach last month at Joint Base Andrews. That's the air base where Air Force One, of course, is kept. The investigative report released by the Air Force says the intruder was given away by his hat, which appeared to have mouse ears. The intruder broke into the airbase on February 1st. He walked around for hours undetected. The break-in spurred an internal investigation to security at Air Force bases nationwide. The name of that suspect, by the way, has not been released. Spring, of course, beginning this weekend. You wouldn't know it out in Colorado. Look at that. People there bracing for more major winter storms. Emergency officials asking people to stay home before as much as 2 feet of snow could blanket the Rockies. The state's governor says that the snow shouldn't impact the delivery of their COVID vaccine shipments. And Luis Palau has died. He was an evangelical pastor born in Argentina who went on to work with Billy Graham before establishing his own Powerhouse International Ministry. He was 86 years old. It's 5:32, and new federal and state guidelines allow for in-person nursing home visits. Here once again, our Eli Brand breaking down those new guidelines and caught up with a mother and daughter who haven't seen each other in person in over a year.
But it'd be wonderful to be able to really see everybody again up close and talk to them.
Joan Ladd is 96 and lives in Bishop Gadsden, an assisted living facility on James Island. She hasn't been in the same room as her family in a year, but that's about to change.
Oh, as soon as they can come down.
The federal government and DHEC started allowing in-person visitations today in assisted living facilities. There are still some restrictions, including a 30-minute time limit on visits and no children under 12, but for Joan and her family, it still means everything.
The thought of being able to have a hug for an hour, it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful.
I'll have Ann in tears.
Ann Filbert says she'll clear the tears and leave Ohio to visit Mom around Easter after she herself is vaccinated.
It was like the best news I've had since I knew I could get a vaccine.
DHEC officials say they're still working on changing some of the guidelines, but for Bishop Gadsden, they say they're going forward with visits that have already been planned.
Residents who have been confined in nursing areas This is just so important.
Over 300 days of confinement are finally over.
I love you, Mom.
That's wonderful, sweetheart.
And I love Bishop Gadsden.
Working for you, Eli Brand, ABC News 4.
Some happy tears there. There are a few other rules from DHEC. No pets indoors. Face masks need to be worn, and visitors can only see the person that they are there to visit. You can learn more about it on DHEC's website. To today's crime alert, 2 suspects in custody following a chase out of North Charleston. Check out the scene late Thursday afternoon on Crowfield Boulevard after those suspects bailed from their car. Police say the suspects wanted for an armed robbery in North Charleston. And new details about the suspect involved in Tuesday's officer-involved shooting in West Ashley. On Thursday, Charleston police identified that suspect as 25-year-old George Grayson Center. Gunfire was exchanged at the Colonial Grand apartment complex between officers and Center in West Ashley Wednesday. Charleston Police Chief Luther Reynolds described the suspect as a significant threat to the community, adding it wasn't the first time that he's been arrested. The chief says just 2 weeks ago, police actually arrested him for brandishing a handgun.
In the end, I got to tell you, it's not an easy thing to face such very difficult and dangerous, stressful, traumatic situations. Our officers, thankfully, are doing well, but we have to focus a lot on that.
So that neighborhood right off Mary Ader is full of children and families. There's a high school nearby. Chief Reynolds did not name the officer involved in the shooting. He says that Sander now facing multiple felony charges and SLED is investigating. They'll list those charges at a later date. And a former officer finding himself in trouble with the law this morning. 52-year-old Johnny Anthony Wells is charged with murder in a shooting. It happened on Roosevelt Street in Florence Tuesday. Police say that Wells and his brother Freddie shot a man following a drug deal. A state criminal justice academy says that Wells worked in law enforcement in Allendale and Hampton counties for 17 years. It says that he left law enforcement in 2014 due to a medical condition. Both Wells brothers being held in the Florence County Detention Center. And over in Richland County, 1 person dead, 4 others injured. Several Richland County deputies responded to Capital City Cycles around 4 o'clock Thursday afternoon. A couple of hours after, a crew from our sister station saw 2 motorcycles and a pickup truck being towed away from the scene.
We believe this is an isolated incident and that there is no danger to the community at this time.
So far, no arrests have been made in that case. Police not saying much about the motive. And that Amber Alert canceled. Officials were looking for 2 missing children from North Carolina. They've since been found, and we're told that they are in good health this morning. A hate crime bill is making its way through the State House, no longer protecting gay or transgender people. A House subcommittee passed that amendment early Thursday morning that removes sexual orientation, creed, gender, age, and ancestry from the bill. South Carolina is just one of 3 states now nationwide without a hate crime bill on the books. The Judiciary Constitutional Laws Subcommittee showed full support by discussing penalty enhancements for the crimes.
I commend everybody for helping us come this far, the pastor of Mother Emanuel Church, and all the members, and all the victims of hate crimes.
Hate crime bill has been on the state's agenda for more than 2 years. The subcommittee unanimously voted on a few amendments which establish 6 protected classes of hate crimes: race, color, religion, sex, national origin, and physical or mental disability. Some supporters, though, question if it's worth having the bill if sexual orientation isn't included. It's 5:37 right now, and Attorney General Alan Wilson announcing a multi-state settlement with the American Medical Collection Agency over a 2009 data breach that exposed the personal information of over 7 million people, including more than 55,000 South Carolinians. As part of the settlement, AMCA will be liable for about $21 million in total payments to states involved. The payment, though, is currently suspended unless the company breaks those settlement terms. Imagine alcohol delivered to your doorstep. You might have that option sooner than you think. South Carolina's House approved 2 bills that would allow beer and wine brought right to your home address or picked up as part of a restaurant's curbside service. The bills acknowledge changes in how people are eating and drinking due to COVID. And in the case of delivery, the driver will have to scan the buyer's ID. Both of those bills will head to the Senate after a final vote in the House. Well, what a stretch of weather we've had. Rain going to return to the forecast perhaps next week. Emily times out when that is going to happen. And all right. Matthew McConaughey is looking to broaden his range, not as an actor. We'll tell you how he wants to leave the Lone Star State from a different kind of spotlight. That's next in the Morning Buzz.
I love responsibility. I have ambition.
The guy's got ambition apparently includes running for governor. Actor Matthew McConaughey now considering a political future. Speaking on the podcast, the Austin native said that he's thinking about running for Texas governor and wondering, what is my leadership role? McConaughey made similar comments last year. At that time, he said it would be up to the people more than it would be up to me. Governor Greg Abbott, by the way, up for re-election next year. Got my vote. Eddie Murphy adding a new trophy to his collection. The iconic actor comedian will be inducted into the NAACP Image Awards Hall of Fame this month. That honor is given to individuals viewed as a pioneer in their respective fields and whose influence has shaped the profession for generations to come. The 59-year-old received that award during a ceremony airing on CBS March 27th. Now, speaking of awards, the 2021 Academy of Country Music Awards has found its hosts. Country stars Keith Urban and Mickey Guyton will co-host this year's ceremony. Urban emceed the show solo last year. Guyton makes history as the first black woman to host the ceremony. And how did a child star for the Brady Bunch get mixed up in the Prince Harry Meghan Oprah interview? Well, the most famous sit-down interview in recent history, sparking an important question among many. As millions of watchers watched Oprah's exclusive interview, they began asking themselves, where can I get those patio chairs? Jeannie Most explains the Brady Bunch connection.
This is a story with legs, not to mention cushions and even wicker. Who needs a throne when you've got those patio chairs viewers were ogling?
How can I get those patio chairs?
Currently out of stock, sold out everywhere from Overstock to Amazon. Priced at $554 a pair. But what's priceless is their connection to this.
That's the way we all became the Brady Bunch.
The man who owns the company behind the chairs that cradled the behinds of Prince Harry and Meghan and Oprah is none other than Peter Brady.
Then it's time to change.
Over 50 years later, he goes by his real name, Christopher Knight, Home Collections.
I love it.
On his Facebook page, Christopher noted, I am honored to have the patio chairs from my collection become the seat of the most fascinating, famous sit-down in recent history, while most folks were digesting...
It's a go.
Various bombshells dropped in the interview.
So much to unpack there.
Others just wanted to unpack those chairs. The real winner of the Oprah interview, the chairs. Even a similar, cheaper version was sold out on Walmart's website. Usually it's clothing, like Meghan's $4,700 Armani dress, that gets all the attention. The dress, with its lotus symbol representing rebirth, also got parodied for representing a seagull bombshell.
Before we get into it.
But the patio chairs escaped unbesmirched. Some 5 decades ago, Peter Brady couldn't stop imitating Humphrey Bogart.
You see, we're having pork chops and applesauce and that's swell.
Well, he's still doing the imitation and serving the dish as well.
Pork chops. Applesauce. Wow.
But when it comes to sales, nothing beats getting royal rumps into his chairs.
That's swell.
Jeannie Most, CNN, New York.
Now on Good Morning Charleston, we're working for you with a storm tracker update.
5:45 on this Friday morning. As you're stepping outside this morning, grab the tissues once again. If you are an allergy sufferer, tree pollen is at high levels once again. We've had no rain, and that continues here for a little while longer. So pine and oak, those are going to be the main offenders here. Also moderate levels of grass and mold out there. Definitely going to be some issues as far as the allergies are concerned today, but that's about it. We're already starting to see a few peaks of sunshine out there, a little daylight on the horizon as we look live over the harbor right now. It's early and that sun already starting to come up, but that's about to change. In fact, next week we are not going to see the sun until after 7 a.m. again. 51, our current temperature right now. Headed out for a walk this morning. Going to be a nice one, especially if you wait a couple of hours. By 8 a.m. we'll be in the mid to upper 50s, but mid to upper 60s by 10 a.m. That's short sleeve weather right there. In fact, this afternoon going to warm even more than that. And by later today, some of us will be around 80 degrees. A sunny day, a dry day, a clear day. High pressure still in control, still getting that southerly wind. Watching a front to our north. And that front's actually going to sink south into the area this weekend, but I don't think it's going to bring us any rain. It may bring us some clouds, especially late tomorrow and early Sunday, but we're cloud free today with a high of 79. Cooler along the beach, near 70 there, but still a beautiful day everywhere. Tonight, mainly clear. Could see some fog forming once again. 54 for the low, so another mild overnight. Looking ahead to next week, we do have a series of fronts coming in, so our dry weather eventually coming to an end. We'll see a little bit more cloud cover this weekend, but likely dry. Now by Monday and Tuesday, we'll see more cloud cover and a chance of some showers. That chance will go up Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as this series of fronts really kind of slowly moves through the area. So ongoing unsettled weather for much of next week. Quite a contrast from this week. The one thing that will be similar, the temperatures are still going to be warm. So we're not going to see a big dip in temperatures with this front. A little bit cooler perhaps on Monday, but after that we are in for warm temperatures once again. So wet weather for next week, nice for the weekend. To look at the temperatures for the weekend, that's coming up in the 7-day forecast. Let's see how those roads are looking now and send it out to Trooper Bob.
Yeah, Malia, Lincolnville Road, just east of Somerville, remains closed because of this two-vehicle head-on collision. A bus actually tried to go through the scene just now, and boy, did that driver get scolded. But right now it's closed, so if you're coming down from Somerville, you're going to have to turn around, make a U-turn, and go back up. The easiest thing to do, if you're coming from Lansing or from Somerville going to Lansing, take Highway 78, and you'll avoid this area altogether. 78's your best option, because I don't know how long this is going to remain closed for.
All right, check it out. State Fair going to be back in business in less than a month, or at least the food will be. The South Carolina State Fair says it's hosting another Spring Fair food drive-through in April through the capital city. All your favorite fair food going to be available, from turkey legs to fried sweets. Drive-through event going to run from April 6th through the 11th. Saved at the 11th hour, why 13,000 American Airlines employees no longer have to worry about that impending furlough. And this may be bad news for lots of you out there, particularly those of you mooching off your parents. How Netflix plans to crack down on that password sharing.
If you're traveling around the region this weekend, we have some good weather up and down the East Coast, some really nice warm temperatures, especially if you're headed south, where it's going to be near 80 degrees in Jacksonville tomorrow with sunshine. Wilmington looking pretty good as well. Greenville, a few more clouds. Now we do have our next weather maker coming in early next week, and that does mean some changes to this bright sunny forecast we've had here around the area. Also, Sunday begins daylight saving time. Remember to set those clocks ahead 1 hour before you go to bed tomorrow night. Going to get that extra hour of daylight starting next week. However, we're going to see more cloud cover with it. So temperatures will stay in the 70s this weekend. We'll see an increase in cloud cover, especially on Sunday. Rain likely holding off until at least Monday, but more likely Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with a series of fronts coming through. That frontal system going to bring warm temperature zone to the forecast, mid-70s all 3 of those days. St. Patrick's Day looking pretty good. Just a few showers out there.
Millions of Americans are looking for jobs, and many may unfortunately be encountering employment scams as they search. Job-related scams top the Better Business Bureau's Scam Tracker Risk Report in both 2018 and 2019, and it was number 2 last year behind scams aimed at online shoppers during the pandemic. CNBC and financial website Grow Acorns recently took a look at some of the red flags job hunters should be aware of to help avoid falling victim to scammers. Number 1, watch out for any potential employer who asks for personal information like a bank account or social security number early in the process. That's information that's usually asked for once you accept a position, not before. Be on the lookout for an employer who asks you to pay for training. Some scammers will also ask you for an enrollment fee. All should be warning signs for job applicants. Another red flag, promising extremely high pay for simple work. All you need to do is search the national average pay for that job to get a sense if you're looking at a scam job listing. Data entry and rebate processing jobs listings are sometimes used as cover for scammers. The average pay for those jobs is $13 to $16 an hour. But FlexJobs found one listing indicating pay as much as $3,000 a week. For more tips on how to avoid job scams, check out the full story at grow.acorns.com.
American Airlines, they're canceling furloughs now that Congress is giving them a financial boost. The Hill reporting more than 13,000 employees were warned last month about furloughs. American Airlines CEO says those notices can be torn up since the House passed that American Rescue Plan, including $15 billion for the airlines that extends their payroll support program through September. Big changes over at Netflix. The company's terms of service says accounts may not be shared with individuals beyond your household. Alex? So now the streaming giant is testing a new feature that would crack down on sharing passwords. When a user selects their profile on a shared Netflix account, a pop-up will ask them to verify the account. That can be done with a text or an email sent to the account holder. If they can't confirm they're the authorized user, viewers will be prompted to set up a new account. The test feature also rolling out now to a limited number of users. So if your friend is doing it, make sure you text them beforehand and ask them to verify it for you. One of the biggest peacetime spending bills now law in our country, from stimulus bills to COVID vaccines, a recap of all the president had to say in his first primetime address to the American people last night. And if you want your Dorchester District 2 student to stay virtual next year, well, you need to get that application done sooner rather than later. Where you can find it and the deadline to get it in.